Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today we're reviewing a bike. But wait, we're not reviewing that bike, we're reviewing this bike, the Bells of Steel Blitz bike. Today we are reviewing the Bells of Steel Blitz bike. This is a perfect example of us listening to you. So thank you for letting us know in the comments the videos that you want to see and the products that you want to see us review. When we did an entire roundup on the best air bikes, this is one that we didn't bring in. You guys said we should get it in. So because you recommended it, we got it. If you like those sorts of things, reviews on product categories within fitness where we take a look at all of them, make sure you subscribe because we have more of them coming out. But today we are reviewing this guy. And I do have something, there is a secret I want to tell you. I'm not gonna tell you till the very end. So if you want to see that, you can stick around till then, but just know there's something I want to tell you at the very end related to this bike. But just like we do in every review, I'm gonna break down the design and features and what Bells of Steel wanted to accomplish with this bike and what its goal is. And then I'm gonna break down kind of what I think about it after using it, like the pros, the cons, and then do some comparisons to other bikes that are out there, like the Rogue Echo bike, the Assault bikes, the French Sport Raptor bikes, the Schwinn 80 bikes, you name it. I've used pretty much all of them. We will compare this one to those. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to hit on, I think, is what separates this bike from many others on the market, particularly ones within its price point, and that is something you can't even see. This uses a belt drivetrain. So not a chain drive like you see on most bikes out there. This is a belt drive. So it doesn't require lubing. It's not using chains and sprockets, so you're having to line it up perfectly. This is using self-tensioning poly groove belts. And so that's basically a long way of saying you're not gonna have to deal with maintenance. I think that maintenance is one of those things that if you can avoid it, you might as well, because you're not buying gym equipment so you can be like the janitor for your gym. You're buying gym equipment so you can get bigger, stronger, faster, all those sorts of good things. That's why I recommend belt drives, and that's why this one in particular is one I really like. But in addition to that, the frame is all metal. There is some like plastic componentry on like some of the touch points. So like these plastic pieces on the back here, or some of the plastic caps, rubber on the handles, things like that. But by and large, this bike is metal, which we've seen people really like. It's the reason like when the Assault bike came out, it was like, man, that's a really cool looking bike. And like it's great for like CrossFit environment. Or when the Rogue Echo bike came out, which is basically like an even bigger, beefier, metalier, is that a word? Okay, sweet. Metalier version of an Assault bike. People loved it. Metal just works in areas in which you're just gonna freaking put a lot of pressure on them. So having a metal frame works well, especially when you factor in the additional weight of it. So this is a heavy bike at 118 pounds. The positive of that is it's very stable. So these wide feet allow it to have a lot of stability when you're really cranking on this thing. If you're doing a workout like 300 FU or something of that nature, you're going out this like crazy. Or if you're doing a Tabata or HIIT, you're really giving it your all. I have to really provide a lot of side-to-side sway in order for this thing to move off its feet. And that's because one, it's 118 pounds, and two, the feet on each side go out pretty far. I really like that they added that in there. Now, the other thing is the monitor. Monitors on air bikes are still not that good. There isn't an air bike out there except for the Concept 2 Biker, which is kind of an air bike, kind of not, doesn't have arms. There isn't really many monitors out there on air bikes that are as good as what we see on, say, spin bikes or other pieces of equipment that are cardio based. That said, this monitor, amongst other air bikes that are out there, is pretty good. It's very similar to what we see on like the Titan air bikes or the Assault air bikes, where it has the panel on the right side that has all the presets. So like 10-20 interval, custom intervals, target time, target heart rate, target calories, those sorts of things are already pre-programmed. It just works. It's not overly complicated. This isn't something that you're gonna be using with Strava and like, you know, connecting it to all these Bluetooth things. It does connect to a heart rate monitor, but if you're very techie, just understand like the air bike industry in general isn't that techie yet, and this one just kind of falls middle of the line. It's decent, I think it works for the price, but I'm glad that they went with a little bit larger display. In addition to the entire bike being metal, so are the fan blades. So very similar to what we see on the Rogue Echo bike that has metal fan blades. These are a little bit smaller, Part of me prefers this, part of me doesn't. The reason that this could be preferable for you, the smaller fan blades versus the Rogue Echo bike, is because it's a little bit easier to start. So the Echo bike sometimes can be a little bit, I don't know, for maybe smaller, less powerful people, it can be a little bit annoying to start. They complain about it. It's one reason they like the Assault bike, because it's just a little bit easier to start. This one feels more similar to an Assault bike in its starting capacity, because it's not having to produce or push against so much more air, whereas the Rogue Echo bike has massive blades, so it's pushing against and creating more resistance against the air. Because we know with air bikes, just like this one, the harder you push against it, the harder it's going to push against you. And that's why they can be such great workouts. And so this bike in particular can be used for like lists, like lower steady state stuff, but it can also be used for HIIT, like higher intensity, interval training, things where you're just going all out. And that's why air bikes work really well in a garage gym. And this one in particular will work good in a garage gym because it's very stable. It can be used for multiple size people, and its powder coat finish is going to prevent it from rusting over time. Now, there are two things I've been asked about in previous air bike videos that are like, Coop, I wish you would cover this. And that is one, the adjustability of the seat. 10 different adjustments up and down. I think this bike will work better for more variety of body types than the Rogue Echo bike. The Echo bike can be a little bit big for people that are like just a little bit smaller. This one can go down pretty far, so no matter your height, weight, that sort of thing, it's gonna work for you. And then it can also go up pretty high too. So it can sit there. In addition to that, it also has forward and backward travel of the seat. So this is a stepless adjustment. It can go forward and backward, and then you simply clamp this back clamp down and it's locked in. Very quick, very easy to use. It also has this like nice seats, nothing special. The other thing that people have wanted me to talk about, and I love this because like this just improves our reviews, is how wide it is. So when you're using a road bike, the width of the frame isn't a big deal. You're not having to like move your legs out and compensate so your heels aren't hitting like the different parts of the bike. This is somewhat of a wide frame bike. And this is most air bikes. I forget the exact name, somebody will correct me in the comments, but there's a name for like the width of this. This is a wider bike. This is similar to what we see with the Fringe Sport Raptor bike. I would say it's maybe a little bit wider than the Rogue Echo bike too. So as far as width goes between your feet, it is pretty wide. If you're smaller, that can be a little bit annoying. I've noticed a few times when I'm really cranking on this and not focusing on it, I'm just like forgetting the world and just putting everything I can into it. My heels will sometimes clip on the side here. It can be a little bit annoying, something to be aware of, but I just wanted you to know, like, if that's something you're thinking through, most air bikes are pretty wide there and can be a little bit annoying when you just clip your heels. This one tends to do that as well. That's what Bells of Steel designed this bike for. Those are the features, but let me walk through the kind of things I like and I don't like. First off, and this is probably pretty obvious, I love that it's gonna be low maintenance. It has the belt drive system, it has a metal frame, it has metal blades, and so from a maintenance standpoint, that's beautiful. I love that, especially for a home gym. In addition to that, the metal components increase stability. I prefer a heavy bike. I don't think most home gym owners are moving their bikes that much. You may be moving it out to the driveway or moving it back in, and that's where something like turf tires, which I'll talk about in a moment, but I really prefer turf tires over what they have here. But I think most people kind of leave their bike where it is and they use it. So something that's heavier and more stable, I'm for, especially when you're really cranking on it. So the extra width on the feet and just like the extra weight of 118 pounds, heavy bike, I like that. So I like that it's heavy, I like that it's stable, it just is gonna stay where you put it. I like the monitor. It's not like my favorite monitor out there, but there could have been a lot worse monitor for the price, so I'm glad they went with that. In addition to that, I like all the extra like comfort features they just include with it. They're not required, but like rubber hand grips, knurled foot posts. Although they're not spinning, they're knurled, so it's just nice touch that you can grip on. The water bottle holder included, the phone holder included, the plastic air shroud that protects you against the air. The reason that's nice is because in the winter, when you're like really cold, using air bikes suck. Like just does. The air flowing on you, it's cold, like you don't want any more air on you. The nice thing about this is it has Phillips screws, so you can remove it. I really wish they would use magnets. Any companies listening, if you make these bikes, make a shroud that's magnetic so I can just put it on, take it off. That would be really nice. But this is nice to use in the summer if you want to take it off so you get air on you, works well. In the winter, if you want to put it back on to keep the air off you, you can. I like that it's just included, no extra costs, just part of the bike. Lastly, I like the value proposition, and bells of steel, I freaking swear, if you raise the price on this, I will drive my bike to Canada and I will knock you out. All right, for $700, this value is pretty darn good, especially when you compare it to all the features, the belt drive. Typically at this price point, we see chain drives. So the value here is fantastic, honestly. And this is kind of the secret I wanted to tell you. I talked about it in the beginning. This bike, it's the French Sport Raptor bike. I'm serious, it's pretty much the exact same. Please, somebody come out and bet me. I bet these bikes are made in the exact same factories. Neither company has told me this. They probably don't even want me talking about this, but these bikes, I'm sure, are made in the exact same factory because everything about them is the exact same. Even like the little touch points on the back, like this one is black instead of French Sports being red, the little plastic shrouds on the feet, the width of the feet, the shroud over the air, the monitor, everything about this, other than basically the color, this uses yellow fan blades, and the fact that the French Sport Raptor bike has better turf tires, these are the same bikes. So why would you buy this one? Well, because it's $250 less right now. The French Sport Raptor bike is on sale right now for $50 off $1,000, which it was originally like $700, $750, close to this one. This one has remained at $700, and for that value, fantastic. You guys know what I said about the Raptor bike. This is pretty much that bike. So the things I said about that one, that's pretty much what this one is. I'm serious, highly recommend this bike. I don't typically say that on videos unless it's something I really like, but I found using the Raptor bike, I use it a lot. I love the belt drive. I use it as much or more than the Echo bike. So for you out there, if you're looking for a bike, don't need the turf tires and don't want to spend the extra money, for $700, dang good value right here. That's my thoughts on the Blitz bike from Bells of Steel. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are there any bikes out there that you wish we would review, or other products? Because that's exactly why we're reviewing this one. Let me know in the comments. This is Coop from Garage Reviews, and we will see you next time. Peace.